probably one of the best games of the entire tournament. Just to put it out there, I mean, what really went wrong for India in the campaign or building up to the campaign? Do you think it was, a lot of things were must, or it was a disaster, waiting to happen, or it just, was not India's, tournament, so to speak?
I'll just draw from the sentence that you kind of used, Vineet. We started off with a great game, and what went wrong after that, right? I think in that lies the answer to probably almost 70% of what we're going to be discussing, which is it was a great game. And because it was such a great game, and I assume we're talking about to our listeners also, we're talking about the India versus Pakistan match, which again, India began with a bang. And of course, we all remember it for that phenomenal innings that, Virat Kohli played. So it was such a great game that what it did was that it allowed us to dream once again. It allowed us to rejoice that, one of the best batsmen the world has ever seen is back in the kind of touch that, a billion people want him to be. And in that, I think we lost somewhere, we lost track of what more was needed for India to kind of continue in that streak, in that way, in going forward in the tournament. So I think what a good win does at most times, while it does bring a lot of cheer and joy and confidence in a tournament as big as the World Cup, what a good win also tends to do is it hides a lot of negatives. And I think that is what that Pakistan game did. It did not allow us to look around. In hindsight, I think, well,
That's true. I mean, it did not allow. I mean, in a way, it really masked it. And I think nothing better to put the Virat Kohli innings in perspective here. And especially that last 8 balls, that pretty much defined it. Otherwise, I mean, it was probably looking like a lost cause for India there. It was those magical 8 balls and two Paris Rock that really changed it. And Ameya, I'll bring you in here and pretty much on those same lines. And as Srini pointed out, it was that first game gave that kind of confidence, but there was a lack of other things that we were discussing leading up to this tournament that, something might be lacking there. And in Australia, those things did come to the fore. Nothing more, glaring than probably the top 3 or top 2, more specifically the approach. I mean, look, the approach was something that was talked about, like there's a different approach everybody's taking. And to be fair to this Indian team, from January 22 to October 22, whatever games that India played, India's strike rate, in that power play or the scoring rate was quite high. But bizarrely, when it came to the T20 World Cup, it just dipped. And how do you make sense of that? I mean, you're talking about KL Rahul and you're talking about Rohit Sharma, 5-time IPL champion. I mean, gun, players in their own right. Yet, something was not clicking for this duo.
So let me start off by saying that I think Srini has hit the nail on its head, or rather Srini has hit the first delivery from you for a straight 6. The point here is Virat Kohli. Okay, that match which India won against Pakistan, the first match at the MCG, which was the most spoken about match in the entire tournament. The match wasn't about India. India did not win the match. It was Virat Kohli who took us to victory. It was a one-man performance which ensured that India won that match. Now coming to your question. Okay, now while the whole thing revolved around Virat Kohli, others failed to perform. Be it the openers, your middle order got hardly any chances. Okay, and whenever they got chances, it was a one-off inning by Hardik Pandya in the last match, right? Dinesh Karthik, who you all picked to ensure that role, he did not perform. Okay, he did not score the big runs or did not get the big finishes that he was expected to get. Arshdeep was very good. Your bowling was really good and it looked outstanding because of Arshdeep, right? But none of the other bowlers really performed up to the expectations. So in a way, if you look at it collectively, it was a failure of the team. There was one person who stood out. We all spoke about him throughout the tournament. The focus was on him. It reminded me, Vineet, Srini, of the 1990s. Whenever India played, you always spoke about Tendulkar and his innings, right? You always looked at it from, if Tendulkar scores, India will win. Or if Tendulkar doesn't score, India will lose. That was the story of India's 2022 T20 World Cup is what I feel. It was all about Virat Kohli. It was about Virat Kohli whenever... And I mean, a single player can only take you to a certain limit, right? I mean, he can he can set a template and ensure that you have a good total on the board, or you are there in the run chase, but he can't get you to win every single game. Which is where the team will have to come in, which is where the other players will have to come in. About the openers specifically, I think it's the pitches that did them in. While a Rahul and a Rohit perform outstanding when it comes to bilateral series at home, or whether it comes to IPL being played in India or being played in the UAE, it is these bouncy pitches which did them in.